Former U.S. President Donald Trump on Saturday said he expects to be arrested Tuesday and called on his supporters to protest as prosecutors consider charges over a hush money payment to a porn star. On his social media platform Truth Social, Trump posted Saturday that a leak from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office indicated, quote, "The far and away leading Republican candidate and former president of the United States of America will be arrested on Tuesday of next week." Trump, whose supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, in a failed effort to overturn his 2020 election defeat, wrote, quote, "Protest, take our nation back." A spokesman for Trump said the former president had not been notified of any arrest. Trump provided no evidence of leaks and did not discuss the possible charges in his post. The probe comes at a critical time as Trump seeks the re-election nomination for the presidency in 2024. No U.S. president has faced criminal charges while in office or afterward. A spokesperson for Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg declined to comment. His office has been investigating a $130,000 payment made by Trump's former personal lawyer Michael Cohen to porn star Stormy Daniels in the run-up to the 2016 election. Trump has called the investigation a witch hunt. Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy on Saturday decried the investigation. He announced his own investigation into whether federal funds are being used to interfere in elections by what he described as a politically motivated prosecution of Trump. Trump has said he will continue campaigning even if he is charged with a crime.
A deal allowing the export of Ukrainian grain from Black Sea ports that was due to expire on Saturday has been renewed. It follows days of talks brokered by Turkey to extend the agreement. Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan announced the renewal on Saturday, but he did not disclose how long the extension period was for. Moscow said it would not object to the deal being extended by 60 days, while the Ukrainian officials said the parties agreed to 120 days. The pact was brokered with Russia and Ukraine by the United Nations and Turkey in July and renewed for a further 120 days in November. It was designed to combat a global food crisis that was fueled in part by Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February last year and a Black Sea blockade. The UN said the deal had allowed the supply of 25 million tons of grain and foodstuffs during its first 2 terms, helping to bring down global food prices and stabilize markets.
This crumbling palace once belonged to Saddam Hussein. The intertwined Arabic letters for S and H are one of the last reminders in this once imposing lake palace, named for an artificial lake that no longer exists. Saad Al-Wazan is a local civil society activist.
The previous regime under Saddam Hussein wanted to have several locations to run the country, as Iraq was going through wars and siege. Many presidential locations were built, including this one. These locations served as spots to run the state, host some presidents, and for rest.
20 years after the US-led invasion, the palace is just one of many that stands in ruins. While US forces had used some of Iraq's palaces as bases, all facilities were handed over to Iraqi authorities in 2011, according to officials. Some facilities, like the Lake Palace, have also endured 2 decades of looting and shelling, including by Islamic State militants. Renovations have begun on some sites, like the Tahadi Palace. Part of the building is already being used by the University of Mosul, while another will be used as a museum. But a full renovation is being hampered by a lack of resources. That means many of Mosul's palaces will remain in ruins, a symbol of the destruction and decades of conflict.
Today we have a significant decision of international justice in a case that has real prospects. The International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin. This is a historic decision that will lead to historic accountability. The head of a terrorist state and another Russian official have officially become suspects of a war crime. In the deportation of Ukrainian children, the illegal displacement of thousands of our children to the territory of the terrorist state.
У кримінальних провадженнях
In the criminal proceedings being investigated by our law enforcement officers, more than 16,000 cases of forced deportation of Ukrainian children by the occupier have already been recorded, but the real full number of deportees could be much higher. To carry out such a criminal operation would be impossible without the order of the highest leader of the terrorist state.
Розділяти дітей із сім'ями, позбавляти їх будь-якої можливості зв'язку.
To separate children from their families, to deprive them of any opportunity to contact their relatives, to hide children on the territory of Russia, to disperse them to remote regions. All this is obviously Russian state policy, state decisions, and state evil, which starts exactly with the top official of the state. I'm grateful to the team of prosecutor Karim Khan and the International Criminal Court, to everyone in the world who helps us fight for justice. I'm grateful for their integrity and willingness to bring those responsible to justice.
Реально притягти до відповідальності тих, хто є винним.
Police in riot gear stormed the house of Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan in Lahore on Saturday and clashed with his supporters, while he officially marked his appearance in court to comply with judicial orders and left again, according to an aide. More clashes outside the court prevented him going in, according to local media, so the judge allowed him to sign the documents from his vehicle. Khan is charged with unlawfully selling state gifts given to him by foreign dignitaries while in office, which he denies. He has led nationwide protests since his ouster from power last year and has a number of cases registered against him. The police unsuccessfully tried to arrest him on Tuesday outside his home, clashing with his supporters during the attempt. Hours earlier, the former cricket star told Reuters he'd formed a committee to lead his party if he's arrested. Khan was shot and wounded while campaigning in November and said his life was still in danger.
This assassination attempt on me, so the powerful people are behind it, and my life is even more at threat than it was then, because these people are worried, all sitting in powerful positions, that if I come back into power, which they know in elections we will win, so they're trying to make sure that I don't get there.
Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif took to Twitter to criticize Khan, saying he was using people as human shields and attempting to intimidate the judiciary.